Good evening, everyone. I think it's an honor to have a chat with Nagesh. I have known him for now about 2 decades. Obviously, a lot of us have looked upon him as a mentor, as a leader in the industry, someone who started organized retail. So I think it's my immense pleasure and honor to have this chat with him about his book that he's written. Uh, and I think I read the whole book and he's written it from the heart. So I'll ask some questions and Nagesh, and also try to introspect that to this current generation of new retailers, because I think a very few of us are with white hairs in here, right? Rest everyone is a very new bunch of retail people. So how does this work for them? But my first
Tell them that you have actually whitened your black hair.
हाँ हाँ वो मैं रोज करता हूँ सर सुबह
मेरे
ताकि
साथ
ऐसा
में बैठने
हाँ,
के लिए,
हाँ,
या?
नहीं मैं रोज सुबह करता था पहले तक 31 दिसंबर तक कि लोगों को ऑफिस में मैं थोड़ा सीरियसली ले मेरे को अभी आई एम थिंकिंग टू एंश्योर दैट इट ग्रोज बैक अगेन बट माय फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन टू यू वाज दिस बिन 3 decades of journey of you running Shopper Stop or starting Shopper Stop. What inspired you to write this book? Because I think that could be a very big motivation to understand why this book today. And that's my first question to you.
So Vineet, I mean, I have been talking in the forums, I've been going and meeting students in colleges, and that's a part of my regular journey. I do it almost every month, I do it. And every time I go, they tell me, sir, why don't you write a book? And when I stepped down at the age of 50, I met my ex-colleague and Sheetal, and she said, let's write a book. I said, let's go ahead. But it took me 10 years to really decide that I want to write a book, okay? It didn't happen then. But last 18 months, I think this urge was there, and I took a resolve, I'll do it. But I must say that writing a book is not so easy, okay? Because there's a full process. I mean, I can do the next half an hour about authoring a book, but I think that motivated me. And the second thing, the love that I'm getting, which otherwise also I get, but which I'm getting because of the book is, I can't really express that in true words. But 3 things happened which was fabulous. One is, since I can't write, I had to partner with Crossword.
Yes.
Since I can't write, Crossword told me you have to go to a literary agent. So I had a literary agent, Manish, authors up front, and then we had to select a co-author. And then there was a very unique thing they told me. They said, you want a co-author or a ghost author? Now, the first time I heard that the authors are ghost also. Yeah, but then they told me, no, ghost author means that she will write for you, but her name will not be there, which I thought is horrible, horrible. Okay, so we went and met 3 of them, and one of them whom finally we selected, and she's the co-author, Ritu. She actually came on board, but first she said, I don't like to write business books. So I had to tell her, this is not a business book. I don't write autobiographies. I said, this is not an autobiography. Then she said, okay, I will do it. So this is neither an autobiography, nor a business book, nor a chronology of what has happened in Shoppers over the 33 years.
So what is Serve from your perspective? Because a lot of people here have not read the book and maybe they get motivated after hearing from you. What is Serve from your words, and why should people read the book?
So first of all, let me tell you why Serve. Yeah, because I think the number of titles that we selected were nothing to do with Serve. It was everything to do with shopping, retailing, Shopper Stop, everything to do with business. But as we finished the first edition, we realized that not many people know, but I was selected in the army. I wanted to serve the country. My mother wanted me to be a doctor and serve the community. I failed in my pre-medical test, so I didn't get into MBBS. And my mother started crying because, Kannadigas, if you are there, if your son goes to the army, when the day he joins, he's shot dead. So my mother started crying, and therefore I didn't join the army. So Serve word started from there in my life. And then I happened to play badminton and table tennis, and people really loved and were scared of my service. And if you look at Shoppers, the whole journey has been only about how do you build customer centricity and serve the customer. And lastly, if you look at my journey of TRRAIN, it's all about serving the community. So when we completed the first draft of the book, Ritu said, I think Serve is the name. But as usual, I always want to go back to the customers. I went and spoke to some people, and they said, Serve, is it something about restaurants getting service? Is this something about service? Then finally, we added the word saying serve business with the heart, the Shopper Stop way. That actually completed the whole thing, and that's how the whole Serve come. So if you are in any business or in life, see, none of us can survive in life without serving, because somebody else's service has made our life. I mean, if you just look at your life, I mean, it's your mother's service which has made what you are. Okay, so without somebody serving us, we wouldn't be what we are today. So I think serve is to be part and parcel of our life. How you serve others is very different. And I'm not saying that if you're in a business and you're a billionaire, you're not serving. You can still bring a purpose in life. So to me, if you have a good purpose in life, serve automatically happens.
So you were an area manager running a territory, and suddenly, and I read the book that it was always your dream to run a store of 50,000 square feet, and you got this opportunity with Mr. Raheja. How difficult was that decision? Because I know you've written in the book, but I really like the whole reasoning that you took to yourself. So I think it's a very important thing, because we all take so many decisions. So I think it's an important thing that if you could run that too.
Actually, Vineet, in the book it's mentioned, people have three kinds of dreams, okay? I want to become this. I want to do this for my parents. Then there is a third kind of dream which says I will change the world, okay? The third type of dream is what you call as pagalpan, junoon, whichever way you say, okay? So I had this third kind of dream, but it didn't happen because I was dreaming that. It happened because of my frustration. I used to run a chain of retail stores called Corona, where the average square foot of the store was 500 square feet. And I said, 500 square feet kar karke thak gaya hoon, koi 50,000 square feet kholega, to I will be the person to run. And you know how India is. If you're $1 million company, what's your target? $100 million. If you're 100 million, what's your target? $1 billion. We are absolutely great at adding zeros. So मैंने भी 500 का 50,000 कर दिया. And every time my boss used to come, we used to have a drink together, and then I would say, Rajiv, I wish somebody opens a 50,000 square feet store. Rajiv's friend was a headhunter who got the assignment from the Rahejas to find a person who can run the 50,000 square feet store. So the only link in this whole scheme of working was that 50,000 square feet. So my own boss calls me and says, you know what, you've been talking about 50,000 square feet. There is a developer in Bombay who wants to start a 50,000 square feet. Believe me, I had no clue who K. Raheja is. That was my first visit to Mumbai. I just came in, went and met with him, interviewed, and he said, the only reason was 50,000 square feet. He didn't show me the property also. If I look at now in hindsight, I was the maddest person on earth here. I mean, today you look for a job, more than you interviewing, the candidate interviews you. And here, I'm not even checked up anything. So I would say it's madness. So to me, that is the critical part of the dream. If you have a dream like that, okay, then you can really chase and do something. And I also say, when you have such dreams, na wo pura kainat aapke saath aata hai. This was pure destiny. Sitting in Bangalore, somebody calls up from Mumbai, and I come in, first time in my life to Mumbai. It's all that. So yeah, pagalpan.
Very young audience that is sitting here, and I'm sure a lot of them have dreams, like you had a dream of. What will you tell to today's Gen Z about that dream? Because that time was very different, today's time is different.
Just 2-3 things. One is, do have a dream. Okay, do have a dream. I think don't qualify the dream by small or big. At that point of my dream was one store of 50,000 square feet. Okay, today it is 4.17 million square feet and 117 or 249 stores all put together. So please do not stop dreaming. I think that's the first important thing I'll say. And the second important thing is, as an individual, and I have written this in the book, you should have the humility to say, I don't know. The problem with today's generation is you start with saying, I know it all. Okay, and then attach the dream to it. And that is the most serious thing. So to me, if you look at the history, I had never been to Mumbai. I had never traveled abroad. I didn't know the definition of department store. There was nothing in front of me. The only thing I had was a dream. And the second thing was, I don't know. I mean, those of you who worked with me in the earlier, my colleagues would know that half the time I would be standing outside the store, talking to the customers, and every time only asking them one thing, sir, what can I do for you? What can we get? In fact, one day I spoke to a customer. He says, I don't like your shirts. I said, why? He says, sab safed, neela, bula, beige hai. So I said, sir, that's what I wear. That's what is great shirts. You know, get orange, pink, red. I was shocked. So he said, go to Benzer and see. I went and saw in Benzer. Yes, it was. So darte, I got 3 of each. Within half an hour, the gold thing sold out. So to me, every lesson in Shop to Stop has been taught by a customer. The only reason we learned is because we did not know. So I tell you, the biggest virtue that we had as a team was ignorance. And I was doing a session with the MBA students in Pune. I said, how would you like to have a certificate MBA in ignorance? I mean, they all became silent. How can it be? But that's really, if you're ignorant, you'll not carry a baggage. If you say, I don't know, you'll be able to learn so much more.
So I'll go back again because I want to start from where you started, and it is a very difficult time. If you would not have got this opportunity, would you have created your own shopper stop?
No.
Because there's so many people who want to create their own. So what is your advice to them then?
I had the dream, but I didn't have the guts. Okay, and I think that's what most of us who come from such middle class families have this challenge. Here, this was a very unique combination, Vineet, and this is probably the only retailer in the world where the ownership is with a family and the starting founder was a professional. I mean, it's a very unique combination. Also, I don't know what happened, something on my forehead, God knows what happened. I mean, the Raheja family trusted me 100%. I mean, they gave charge. Just imagine a 30-year-old young guy comes into Mumbai and you give the keys to a 16 crore property and allow him to do whatever. And whatever is not free. I mean, when I went to ask for money, they said, yeah, but you have to pay interest. I said, interest to our own group? He said, yes. So when I checked up, they said 12% interest. I went to IOB, which is just below. I said, how much? He said 10%. So I borrowed from IOB. But the fact that they made me pay interest, I think to me, that is the accountability they brought in. So if you don't know, you are ignorant, and you are wanting to start a business, I think this is extremely, extremely important to follow.
I want to ask you, when the first store opened, and I know the history and I don't want to get into that because I would like people to read, what was that emotion for you that day? I'm sure that emotion you will still remember. I've gone through some part of that journey, so I want to ask you this. What was that emotion?
No, it was a deja vu because, I joined in July and I met my chairman who was traveling 1st of August and he gave me 90 days to start. I was the first employee, no company, no brand, no team, no product, no category, no model, no business, no process. Zero.
And you were selling residential houses also, so that's another point that you could share.
And what happened was that when I joined, my chairman had to go abroad. He was not there, and he had not told anybody in the company why he has recruited me. He was the only person knew. So first month, they put me into architecture department, then they put me into construction department, then they put me into sales. I and my wife, we were saying, boss, we have got conned. I think they got you for creating something, but they are putting you into a real estate business. But then he came back, he gave this objective of saying, start the business in 90 days' time. And the day we opened was the 90th, 91st day. Met in 1st August, we opened on 27th October. I mean, it was amazing, but I can't tell you the teamwork that came into play. Everybody was an owner. Everybody took ownership. Okay, we had to open at 11 o'clock. We got delayed because there was no racks. I mean, today I see some wonderful fit out. There were no racks to keep garments. I had kept everything on the floor. Then I went and told the Panditji, it's there in the book also. I said, sir, thoda delay kar do. Thoda mantra jada pad do, lamba kar do. Finally, he did that and we opened the store on time. But to me, I'll tell you what was the biggest feeling is. A small team of 13 people. And we managed to get that team's photograph. And we managed to get the names of all those people who started Shopper Stop. It's there. And a small team of 13 people created and did something which was not even imagined because there was a Benzer and an Emerson, and these are people who have been for years, owners who are sitting it. And all the 13 of us had never done retail, had never done apparel, had never done fashion. Okay, that to me is the key. The moment you do not carry a baggage, you can do anything in life.
So, Shopper Stop journey, which you've defined, has a very big thing, which I completely agree, is called trust. And you've elaborated that. I think for the audience, how did this trust thing come in? Because I know there's a story behind it, so I like you to elaborate because it's a very interesting story for the audience.
See, I mean, honestly, I still don't know why they trusted me. Yeah? But they got a young person, gave the keys of a big property, and allowed him to build a brand. So they trusted me 100%, 100%. The Raheja family empowered me to take decisions, and big and hard decisions, many decisions which I failed. So tell me, if I am empowered and I am trusted, then how can I or we not trust our colleagues? And in our company, the mantra was very simple. Everybody who joins, on day one, we trust him 100%. If she or he does anything which is mistrust of 0.001%, we trust him or her zero. Because there's nothing called 99%. I mean, I hear a lot of people saying, I trust him 99%. I said, sorry. If you trust him 99, don't say 99%. Say, I mistrust him 1%. How can he be your colleague? So I think trust is something that you build over a time, but it only happens if somebody is allowing to enables you and empowers you to do things. Because the respect comes from there.
And how did Shopper Stop build this big trust with consumers? Because end of the day, it's the customer is the king, and customers have for years trusted Shopper Stop. So
I think initially it was very simple. Okay, when we started, when I went around and did a lot of research, I am a very strong believer of going into customer. Okay, and that's where I have a lot of angst in the current situation. And let me share that because that angst, let it come out. 50% of retail business happens between 5:30 and 8:30. You also know that 50% of business happens on Saturday, Sunday. You also know the head office works between Monday and Friday. How can you be connected to customers through research agencies? We all walk the street. There are people who are sitting here who are buyers and assistant managers. Ask them if there's something they like. I said, go to Jaipur. You can't do that. With the customer, our trust started when I realized that, the retail industry doesn't trust the customers. Every cash memo in 1991 said goods once sold will not be exchanged. Okay, and if you look at our first cash memo in 1991 said, we are responsible for everything we sell. Today, with all due respect, the Mintras and the Amazons and everybody is talking of giving away returns. Was 1991 when no questions asked return was there. And if I tell you the story of no question asked returns, you'll be shocked of what can no questions asked return. And let me also tell you a story on how this gets built up. And it's there in the book, but I want to share. A couple came to a Pune store and bought a silk garment. The wife was not okay with him buying, but he was very keen to buy. They bought a silk garment, 5,000 bucks, 1999, 2000. And they went, and after wearing the garment, they put it into the washing machine, and the whole thing got totally ruined. And when it got ruined, she was very upset. Anyhow, they came to our store, and they started shouting and all that. And then the store manager said, sir, this is actually supposed to be a dry wash. Then they realized that it was their mistake. But they were very unhappy with their purchase. You know what the store manager did? He just said, sir, you take a replacement. He gave a replacement of a 5,000 rupee garment, no questions asked, customer's mistake. After many days, I was going into Pune store, and we are talking about this customer. I said, why did you do it? He says, sir, jab tak ye 5,000 rupees ka sada garment ghar mein rahega, Shopper Stop will be always looked at negatively. Look at the way he saw the brand. And you know what is the result of that? After 7-8 years, I met him again. You know what he's saying? He's saying, sir, that customer, he is now the admin manager of this IT company. And in the last 5 years, every year he's given us a 30 lakh worth of gift voucher order. Now look at this. So everything that we do on our business, everything, it is always impacting the brand. There are a lot of other stories of brand. One more story I want to tell you. I got a call from a customer from Andheri station. Mr. Nagesh, 2 of your youth are fighting cat and dog on the railway station. So I said, thank you, ma'am, but what can I do about it? No, you have to do something. But why? They are wearing your uniforms. It is making a difference to Shopper Stop brand. That to me is. So the brand carries in-house, out-house, in the family, in the house. I've talked about culture. It all carries like that. And that's the way you build trust.
So in today's world where everything is becoming AI, everything is becoming machine learning, how do you build this culture of trust, customer centricity? What is your take? Because a lot of us are replacing this with data or systems.
Yeah, but the data is getting you business. There's no trust. There's no trust. Look at this. I and you are friends. Okay, I have put a post, and you have not put the like. I don't like you. Where is the question of trust? I have seen in the office, we are sitting next to each other, and they're WhatsApping each other. A friend of mine, my age, they send a message on social media to the son who's sitting in the room to come out for lunch. I met gentleman just half an hour back, and he was talking about saying, I do a lot of transactions. How do I bring emotions into it? I said, because in your transactions, there's no human connection at all. You're selling garments, you're selling fabulous garments, but you never spoke about the humanity behind this. He sells 1 lakh pieces every day. I said, do you know the amount of women or karigars that this must be impacting? Thousands of them. Tell your customers what you are doing. You are saying, मैं तो कपड़ा बेच रहा हूँ. अरे नहीं boss, आप 1000 लोगों की जिंदगी बदल रहे हो. Just look at how the human connection will happen. So I think if until as a human is treated as a human and spoken as a human, I don't think there's any human connection or trust can be built.
I completely actually agree with you. So I'll come to one more thing. Shopper Stop introduced several firsts, right? And in today's time also, there are so many people innovating. But I want to ask you, how did you identify what the market was ready for? Because you started a first department store of the country. You didn't know what market was ready for. It was all gut feel. So how did you, and what is your message to new people?
So it was not gut feel, Vineet, because like I said, we always would go to customer. So we actually, before starting, we went into the customer. We went to Linking Road. We were a group of 5 people who went store to store to store to store. And we met in the night, and each group presented what they've experienced. One group said, we have fabulous experience. Another said, what? Horrible experience. Great experience. But the common word was experience. And that's how we said we will call Shopper Stop the ultimate shopping experience. After 2 years, we again went back to customers. They said, we love the experience. So we said, Shopper Stop, feel the experience while you shop. So from 1991 to today, even today, any business you start, the common word is experience. So there is no way, and you can't create an experience without human interface. And I think that's the key. So first is we went and learned from the customers. Second is we had no fear of trials. Absolutely no fear. In our company at that point of time, we did not know the word of not possible. Jo bhi bolo hum kar dete the. I mean, when a customer challenged me on the floor to say you have 300 ties, kya range hai? So I spoke to Zodiac. I said 300 ties. He said 300 ties is a fabulous range. But this customer said, "Arey 3-4 tie hona chahiye na." So we went back and sat. I mean, Salil was there, and I said, "Salil, 3-4 tie, yaar 10,000 tie rakhte hain. 10,000 tie. The only company in the world which has a tie festival with 10,000 ties displays beneath and 10,000 ties sold in a month. Wow. Why? Pagalpan. Bekofi. Okay, today's day, if I tell somebody do this, they'll say, what about inventory? What about weeks cover? What about forward weeks cover? What about discount? No. So trial was part of our day-to-day working.
But these are also realities, right? Week covers, stocks, inventory. How did you manage that?
But all was there, yaar. उस time तो सब कुछ ठीक था. उस time weeks cover भी अच्छा होता था, sell through भी अच्छा होता था, discount भी नहीं करते थे. You are aware, we used to go for discount only 2 weeks in February after everybody finishes. Okay, because there was a huge relationship with customers. And this is something I want to share with you. Customers are the biggest brand ambassador of ours. Biggest brand ambassadors. And there are enough documentary proof I can share you that how they love you if you love them. Okay?
So I'll have a controversial question. You're still the chairman of Shopper Stop. Why does Shopper Stop go on sale so early now?
No, because...
Vishak is laughing on me from right on that corner, but I'll still ask this question.
That's okay. No, it's very... Like I said, enablement and empowerment was the 2 reasons why Shoppers, okay? The day I stepped out from Shopper Stop as the managing director, the last 11 years, I had taken 0 accountability or responsibility for executive decisions, okay? I mean, Mr. Raheja gave it to me. I didn't screw up or I screwed up, it's okay. So the next person comes and he takes a call. I would add to say, do this or don't do this, but I will not say, no, you're not going to have, this is the way to do it. No, that's not the role that I play.
So I think Shopper Stop is a very empowering company.
Yeah,
and
one is when it is empowering, plus as CEOs and managing directors and whatever, there are 2 principles that we have to know. If you have to succeed, you have to let go. And you have to let go, you have to enable and empower people. Okay, and if these 2 things don't happen, you'll always have a challenge.
And you think this happened because Mr. Raheja did that with you, and you thought that's the right way?
Yes,
because that time there were no management colleges, no management. Today you can have
boss,
mentors.
I'm also an MBA, but from BHU.
But I'm saying there were no mentors telling people on that space. So it is all you learn on the way. Is that right?
Everything was learned on the ground, on the way, from the customers, from colleagues, from vendors. I mean, Vikram is sitting here, and I know. I mean, we used to have big fights, and then we would go and sit across, have a cup of coffee, and resolve it.
Yeah.
Abhi to dunya bhar ka mail. So it's a different environment.
So my next question is, what leadership principles guided you through tough decisions during the Shopper Stop journey? Because it's end of the day, I'm sure you took many tough decisions.
Yeah. No, not only took many tough decisions, but a lot of failures. And during the failures, to really come back was not easy, because at the end of the day, you may empower people, but when it comes to accountability, you have to hold yourself accountable. I did have tremendous situations, okay, which was very tough to handle. But when you're right on the top of the pyramid, and you don't have anybody in the peer group who can go and talk, there are challenges. And my own way of sorting out challenges was I used to fight by myself. And every problem that I have faced, I've always gone, locked my bathroom, stood in front of the mirror, fought with my mirror, cried with my mirror, because I'm the only one who can sort it. See, if I have to sort it, then I have to learn how to sort it. Okay, that's the method that I've used then, I use it now, but it really helps me because I am accountable for whatever I have taken.
So I've been already told about the time, but I
No,
still
but
have...
they also said you're very old, 22 years of relationship with images. तुम बोलते जाओ उसको जो करना करने दो.
ठीक है, सुन लिया तुमने? So I think I will take to the next question. I'll go to the next question, Nagesh. I told him you can try, but.
Can I just say for 25 years, I've said never give Nagesh a microphone. Because you'll never get it away from him.
No, we'll still take 5 minutes, I think. Vishak, is that okay, Nandita? Yeah, thank you. We don't often get him on the stage to answer these questions generally. Generally, we are all on the receiving end and he's asking us questions. If you had to start again, 30 years back, what will be the few things that you will not do?
Okay, I think the biggest mistake that I did in the journey was from a technology point of view. We selected the technology first, looked at the partner second, and fund third. I would reverse it.
So you look at the fund first, then the partner, and then the technology.
The fund means do you have the money, do you have the right partner, and then get the right technology. Because we got the best technology, got totally screwed by the implementation, and it was a huge amount that we spent on that.
So Shopper Stop has also built many leaders. Means a lot of colleagues of mine today in the industry are from Shopper Stop. How does it feel for you when you see them successful?
Fabulous. Fabulous. I mean, today I met so many. There's so many of them sitting here. I mean, last week I was in Pune with colleges, and I met 2 professors, and they said, "Sir, wonderful, wonderful." I said, "What?" He says, "No, I was an intern in Shopper Stop." I said, "Shopper Stop intern karke bhi you are professor in Symbiosis." So yeah, I meet a lot of them. But there's always one problem in that. Wherever you go, you get recognized. I can't shop in peace.
And I heard one of your interviews and where you spoke about Shopper Stop is always known for the black and white ads. And there's a story behind it. So I think it's a very nice story for people to know how come black and white, and I'm sure you then stuck to it, but I'll happy to have you narrate this story.
It's a unique story, and the contract keep beating me whenever I share this story. So when we did all this experience as the key, Rahul Dikuna and Prashant Godbole, they created a campaign, a fabulous campaign. And they sent me the campaign. I received the campaign. It was late in night, and I loved it. So I picked up through account manager, Preeti Maroli. I said, "Okay, Preeti, what will it cost?" She said, 55 lakhs. 1994, 55 lakhs. I said, "There's no way." Our budget was 15 lakhs. I said, "By the way, why should a black and white campaign cost you 55 lakhs? She said, "No, it's a color campaign." I said, "No, it's a black and white campaign." After 20 minutes, I realized that they had fax through a color fax, and I received a black and white fax. But that was lovely. I loved it. And of course, I mean, they were party to it. And so I keep saying that, sometime, and it happened in 15 lakhs. It was also within the budget that we had. But then we got stuck to it. We really look at it. And people said high fashion is black and white. One is that. Second, this after 15 years, 2005, when we changed our logo, you'll be surprised when we did a research, the customers had no relationship or affinity to the shape of the logo. Zero. They said whatever is black and white is Shopper Stop. So we retained the color and changed the logo overnight on 30 stores with zero impact. So sometimes we also don't realize what is the affinity that the customer has with us, especially for the brand.
In the book, is there a story that you hesitated from putting, which you would have not put, or there are stories that you wanted to put and you didn't put?
No, I think we were given restrictions of 50,000 words. Okay, so I had to put everything within the 50,000 words. I was very keen to have mistakes as a chapter. So if you look at chapter number 13, it so happens it's chapter number 13. It's mistakes made, okay? Because to me, I mean, the whole next generation sitting here, please don't learn from what we have done, okay? Learn from what we did not do well, because you don't have to repeat that. And it's not one mistake. I mean, I have 3 things to my credit in my life, but I have 7 things which failed, lost between 400 to 500 crores. Nobody talks about it, okay? So I think that was what I wanted each one to look at it. So if one thing I had not put, I didn't get into personality clashes. Okay, any organizations, when you are so large, 15, 17,000, you'll have those personality clashes. The only learning that I got out from there is that until your team buys in, okay, you can't achieve goals. Okay, I mean, those days are gone when you say, I'm the leader, this is what I say, you go and execute, it doesn't happen. Because creativity has to happen with the heart and the execution has to happen with the heart. And that's the only learning I would say out of that.
And this interview or this book cannot be, this question is a must, is partnership. Because you've spoken a lot about partnership. I'd like you to evaluate, tell us a little bit more about why partnership is so important.
See, without collaboration, nothing happens in life. Nothing happens in life. You go into nature, you'll see collaboration. Okay, you go to anywhere in nature, there is collaboration. You go into our family, there's collaboration. I mean, a broken house can never succeed so much as a house where both parents are together. It's all collaboration and relationship. So when we started off, I was ignorant, I didn't know. So we had to go to people, we had to go to vendors, we had to go to talk to them. And we never looked at vendors as partners, okay? We used to have differences, but always looked at partners. At a time when it came, everything was new for us. There was no shops in establishment for us. There was no licensing rule. There was no 7-day working. So everything for us was first. And that's where I went and met Noel Tata, Kishore Biani, Ramnath, the whole group and said, boss, let's form a retail association. And a lot of people asked me, you're mad? I mean, you're going and talking to competitors and sitting with them to form an association. It took me 5 years. 2000, we started. 2005, we formed an association. I mean, today, all of us are members of association, and you know what the work does. So to me, unless you collaborate with your competitors, okay, collaborate with everybody else, your success will only be limited. Okay, I just want to leave a last example. Anish is staring me.
No, I have 2 more questions, so he can stare at you as much as
Okay.
he wants. And then we have to open for the audience. There's so many people wanting to
I was
ask
in the
you.
jewelry exhibition, and I met 2 people from the Lab Diamond. Both of them wanted to come in Shopper Stop. I said, you're willing to be in the counter next to each other, okay, selling Lab Diamond. So competitors selling within a premise is okay. But 10 competitors getting together and setting up a retail outlet for Lab Diamonds is not okay. Haan sir, kaise karenge? So I think it's important. The market is so big. Unless you increase the pie, you can't grow the market.
And this question is from Amitabh because he's not here. Otherwise, he would have been in the audience to ask this question. Shopper Stop had its own pace of growth. And then many came, and I don't want to count the names, who were very fast-paced. A lot of them achieved a lot. Would you still stick to the speed in which you grew, or you thought there's a learning there, you could have grown faster? Or you
Yeah, we could have gone faster. I think one of the mistakes that happened was Shopper Stop also started Hypercity. Okay, and in Hypercity, we made mistakes which cost us a lot. We lost 500 crores in Hypercity. So shoppers put money into a subsidiary Hypercity and did not have enough money to grow. And therefore, that pace for that 5 years, 500 crores is a large amount in department stores. I mean, you can open 50 stores. Okay, I think we lost that time. Second is, if you look at the aspiration, ambition, we've always remained within the cash flows of the business. I mean, for 25 years, our debt equity has never crossed 0.5, 0.6. And that's the way the promoters have looked at it. So we are happy with what we have done. But if I look back and say where we are, I have hit the red tape. But the red tape in the industry has moved far, far ahead. So yes, we have missed the boat to that extent.
So last question from me, and then we'll take up 1 or 2. What has been the most memorable feedback you've received from readers on this book as of now?
There are people who have written to me that I got the book at 9 o'clock, I finished it at 11:30. Okay, somebody wrote to me, and he's probably here to say the whole night I sat and wrote back. I mean, people have given some very, very nice feedback. And I must say that you feel really humble because, I mean, it's a story that everybody has witnessed it. I mean, it's been extremely, I mean, today the whole day I've been like a star, you know, giving photographs and signing books and things like that. You feel very good. I must say that at the end of the day, you are a human being and you like to be loved. Okay, and this love is something I did not expect when I was writing the book.
So do we expect a second book, or this is the first and the last book?
No, this is the first book. I don't know about the last, but I'm not planning for a second book because that journey I have another journey. The train journey is not mentioned here.
Yes.
Okay, the train journey will take another 10 years. I've said up to 75 years is where I will.
No, that's why I stuck to Shopper Stop and this. I'm not going to train.
So maybe when I'm 75 and the train journey, our ambition has reached a certain stage, I may write a book. Okay. But on the retail and Shopper Stop and all that, the first and the last.
Okay. And we can take one max question. I think Anish is, I know. but इतनी अच्छी audience है, एक question तो see, I got opportunity to ask 20, so let them ask at least one, Anish. One question. Yes, there's a hand already, so very good.
Hi, good evening.
Hi.
My question is the 30-year-old boy who started and got the 50,000 square feet at that point in time would get the same 50,000 square feet today. What would he do with it?
Well, I'll open a store for the 50 plus in this country. The biggest part of money, the highest potential, and the most aspirational Indian is the 50 plus today, and nobody cares for him.
And I think somewhere you also spoke about providing jobs for people who are in that age bracket. A lot of people. I heard that one of your interviews that day. I think
there is a need for it, but I think it's far away. But I would definitely. I think I met 2-3 people who asked me what should be the next business. I've told to all 3 of them. If they start before, I'll miss it. But I'm not having any intention of starting. But it's a very large segment sitting. Yeah.
I understand. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nagesh. Thank you for your time. I think lovely book, and I hope everyone buys one and goes through this. Thank you.